Well, welcome back to Gridiron TV and welcome back to the London Blitz and Ed Morgan. Ed, thanks very much for joining us again.
No problem, Al.
So we spoke to you earlier in the season. I had a few things had gone past, but we've now reached the end of the regular season. You're heading into the playoffs. Let's start with a little touch on how do you think the regular season for the Blitz has gone this year?
It's been a little bit up and down, to be honest, Al. I'm not sure we've performed as well as we might have wanted to do in a couple of games. There's every last couple of years we've tended to see a little bit of a European hangover when we finish the European season. It is a difficult thing mentally to get the guys to adjust from. Say, for example, last season we went from playing an EFAF Cup final, and then the next week we had an 80-point blowout at home. And then this year we went from playing Berlin Adler 1 week in front of a couple of thousand people in a nice stadium in Berlin, and then the next week we were splashing around Finsbury Park in a 70-point blowout. And that's very difficult to keep momentum. In terms of the record, obviously the last few years we've been undefeated. This year that's not the case. But taking nothing away from the Warriors, I think they've really, really improved this year, and I think they're a great football team at the moment.
Yeah, as you say, barring those couple of losses to them, you've had a very successful season with a lot of high scores against teams. So obviously the team in general is working well together and building up some good momentum that hopefully they can take through to the playoffs.
Yeah, we've got a new offensive coordinator this year, and Mike Callan, who was our defensive backs coach last year and is the current head coach of GB Lions. He's moved to the other side of the ball this year, and the offense that they've been running is quick. It's a high tempo offense, and they've put up a lot of points. But it's not just been the offense as well. I think in the Bristol game, the defense scored I think it was 23 points in the first half. As a defensive player, I'm taking credit for the extra points we got on the defensive scores as well there. But I think that's only fair.
Yeah, so it's only an all-round team performance, and now we head into the playoffs. But we've just heard you were initially due to be playing the Mustangs, but we've just heard that they've had to pull out. They've not been able to raise a team for injuries and so on. So how does that affect you guys? You'll obviously have the week off. Do you think the guys will be faced by this at all?
I think players on both teams and committees and coaches on both teams will be upset if games not being played. We all pay to play the game. People want to play football games. I think as a club it hurts us financially. The frustration is that we don't get to keep the home fixture where we get a bit of income, but we do get to keep the away fixture the following week, going all the way to Scotland. So financially that's pretty tough to swallow, but I think there's obviously a lot of discussion at the moment about the state of play in the league, and they might have cancelled games this year. But when it comes down to it, all you can do is make a decision based on the situation this week. And the situation this week is that Doncaster don't have enough players to play the game safely. And I've had a couple of messages from players on their team that really, really wanted to play. But after speaking to Mark Blythe yesterday, I'm left with no difference of opinion that it could have been done in any other way, really.
Yeah, so obviously the guys will have the week off, chance to rest or to train, and then you've got the long trip up to the Pirates, and that's going to be a difficult trip, and they've had a very good season themselves, so how do you see that game going?
East Kilbride's a club that the Blitz have got a good history and a good relationship with. We went up there in 2007 and played them there, and then again they came down to us in 2008. They're a really, really good team, East Kilbride, good setup. We know a lot of their coaches and players through GB Lions. I think the two clubs made up a large proportion of the Lions squad that went to Frankfurt in 2010. And, we're looking forward to playing these guys. Don't get to play them very much. I'm not going to pretend that I'm glad that the game's in Glasgow. I'd much rather it was in North London. But that's one of the challenges. And Amanda McDonald and the Pirates have been really helpful with helping us trying to organise the trip this week.
And then that, of course, sets you up for potential to return to Brit Bowl. But moving away from the adult team, you've also got the junior team in action this weekend. They've made the playoffs as well. So really, as all around as a club, doing very well this season and potentially could have more than one representative in Brit Bowl. So how do you see things for the junior team? Are they excited for their match?
Yeah, no, I mean the juniors have really been a big success story this year for us. I mean, last season winning our first junior national title, that made a really big difference to the club. It was one of the things that we'd set out as a long-term goal when we brought the then youth team that became the junior team back in 2007, and those guys climbed their mountain, but also they had a lot of players graduate last year, and the senior teams reaped the benefit of that this year, and I think that was reflected in our EFL squad. The coaches weren't sure what was going to happen in terms of all those senior players moving up, but the production line's kind of coming through. They've had a number of players moving up from youth, and I mean the goal is there for us. I mean, we're making no bones about it. We want to have 4 teams playing at the Brit Bowl. We want to get the kids flag team there. We want to get the youth, the junior and the senior kitted teams all there. Last year we were lucky enough to win the kids flag, the junior kitted and the senior kitted. The youth guys came up a little bit short, but they've just captured the Southern Conference Championship in a home tournament that they step in to host on Saturday. So it's going to be really difficult. I think more difficult than it's ever been before. But all the guys are putting the work in, and we'll just see what happens.
Okay, well, good luck for the organisation, for all the teams taking part this weekend and possibly into weekends beyond. And thanks for your time this evening, Eds, and thanks for joining us.
No worries, Alan. Appreciate it.